afternoon, good evening, regardless of where you are. It's always a great time to study the gospel inspired by Spiritism. Today, we're going to review chapter 72 of the book Our Daily Bread, which is titled Contemplate Farther Ahead. It is based on Luke chapter 6, verse 38. Before we begin, I'd like to take an opportunity to thank Kardec Radio for opening up its many social media platforms for conversations just like this one. So, before we begin, as always, let's say our initial prayer together. Lord, thank you for so many opportunities that you offer us. Thank you for the opportunities for learning. Thank you for the opportunities for us to experiment our resolutions in goodness. Thank you for the opportunities that we have to interact with our brothers and sisters, because we help one another, even when we are not intentionally doing so. There's always so much for us to learn from one another, always so much for us to contribute. So thank you, Lord, for those interactions. Thank you for the gospel, and thanks for Spiritism, who opens our minds to a different way of viewing life in the universe. So good. Thank you. So again, we're going to be discussing chapter 72, Contemplate Farther Ahead. So the interesting thing about this chapter is that it's based on Luke chapter 6, verse 38. And this is how it goes, this particular passage. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. So we see here a correlation between how we envision, how we measure, how we inspect, how we understand the world around us, and how that applies to us, how it gets fed back at us. Emmanuel explains it quite interestingly, reminding us that to the Eskimo, the sky is a continent made of ice, sustaining the seals. To the savage of the forest, there is no paradise greater than abundant hunt. So we see here these two examples of indigenous populations that, in the environment that they are, the way that they see the goodness of God, or the way they understand, of course, they might even depend, it might not even, you might believe in some deity. But again, the way they see the universe is based on their understanding. And, of course, interesting, the example here of the savage that is hunting. So a paradise is when there's a lot of hunt, when there's a lot of opportunity. So again, based on that perspective, that is what is paradise. Emmanuel continues here, in paradise in this case, meaning a good situation, plenitude, happiness, fulfillment, etc. Emmanuel continues indicating that to a man of sectarian religious faith, the glory beyond the grave is exclusively his and to those of his participants. So again, for those who only believe that, hey, my belief system is the right one, he or she, the way he or she understands is that the glory, the success in the afterlife, it is all exclusive to those who believe just like him or her. And Emmanuel continues here, however, right, indicating that to the wise man, to those who have wisdom, we have a mind that is a lot more expensive, not expensive, expansive. Someone who has expanded his knowledge, then this world and the celestial circles that surround it are small departments of the universe. So again, for someone who has wisdom, he or she is not going to limit his eyes or her eyes to just what he or she sees around or perceives around them. He or she is going to expand that and understand that whatever I have here in this particular space and time It is all part of a huge universe. It's not the whole universe, it's not the entirety of the universe. It is not the entirety of reality. That's not full reality. It is just a portion of that, which is a great way. An interesting thing that again in place and time, right? Again, my surroundings, my environment, my circumstances, they're just a part of the universe. And the universe, of course, there's space and time in the universe. So whatever I see here is transitory as well, because my reality at this moment is going to change. A second ago is going to change 10 minutes ago, 10 minutes ahead in the future, 1 hour in the future, 100 years in the future. So everything changes in the universe. The universe is in constant motion. So a wise man, somebody who has the wisdom to understand that whatever surrounds him or her does not necessarily entangle him, does not necessarily restrict him or her. There's also so much more. Many continues the explanation here, indicating that you should transfer your observations to your field of daily experiences. And do not forget that the external situations shall be registered within you, according to the reflections you pictured in your conscience. So it's interesting that, again, the way we observe the world, the way we experiment the world in daily experiences, in our constant circumstances. So even though those might be external, they're still registered by us and based on how our conscience is, based on our understanding. So two individuals might be under the same circumstances, in the same place at the same time. And one might be very happy because he or she is admiring nature and all the beauty around it. And the other one might be feeling sad, might be feeling blue, um, and for any reason, any for not opening his or her eyes to all the beauty, all the great things that are surrounding him or her. So again, we see the world based on our own conscience, on our own interior perspective. So, if you persevere in anger, all the forces around you will appear enraged. If you prefer sadness, you will note disenchantment in every step of the road. If you have doubts about your personal ability, no one will have confidence in your efforts. Again, so we see that it is not the 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 way life responds to us is not necessarily from the exterior to the interior. It's the other way around. It's from the interior to the exterior. So if I'm angry, if I'm constantly sad, if I'm doubtful, so the same way the world will appear enraged, will appear um, sad to me, disenchanted in this case here, and with disenchantment, and also we're gonna feel that nobody trusts us, nobody has confidence in us, nobody believes in us, and again everything comes from within us. So again, if I'm cultivating good feelings, if I'm cultivating good energy inside of me, that's the way the world will respond to me. So if I preserve and nurture positivity in my heart, I'm gonna see so much optimism, so much happiness, so much light around me. If I if I distribute charity, a charitable person, I'm gonna see that the universe is has so much more to give to me, and I'm gonna feel so thankful um, for the universe. And again, if I'm the one who cultivates affection inside of my heart, I'm going to be experiencing also that same affinity, that same affection, that same love with all of those around us. So my understanding of the world, it is through the lens that I prepare inside myself, in my own conscience, you know. in my soul, pretty much. And Emmanuel expands on that, indicating that you will breathe in either a superior or inferior zone, torture or peaceful, wherever you choose to direct your mind. Within the organization which pleases you, you will live with the genies that you call upon. If you remain idle at rest, you will do so in whichever way you desire. If you involve yourself in work, you will find thousand different ways of being of service. So again, where is it that we're going to be? And what is it that we want to experience? We want to experience the inferior zones, the torture and sadness and difficulties, or do I want to be in the superior zones with peace and love and harmony? It's up to me. It depends on my own attitude. Again, I am going to, by affinity, I'm going to project myself. I'm going to be in tune with the particularly zone, a particular level of energy of the universe. So again, if I'm going to be very positive, I'm someone who believes believes in the goodness of the world. Not only that, but also who acts in a charitable manner, then I'm going to be in tune with the higher zones that are connected to that. And otherwise, if all I have is anger, is rancor, is sadness, is vengeful thoughts, I'm going to be connected to the lower states that are in tune with also those inferior types of sentiments. I like here also when a man indicates that, hey, if I remain idle at rest, then you do whichever way you desire. I mean, it's up to you. Everybody has free will for if I want to not to do anything for myself or for others, that's fine. However, if I involve myself for work, if I have the focus, if I have the drive to look for those opportunities to serve, then there's going to be a thousand different ways of being of service. There's, again, the universe is infinite, and there's always something that I can do for the benefit of the universe, regardless of my level of spiritual evolution. And Emmanuel finalizes indicating that as you stroll along, the scenery that unfolds you shall always be to your liking as you evaluate it to be. For with the same measure you apply to nature, the living creation of God, nature will equally measure you. So again, everything that you see here, everything the way I see it to my liking, then it is the measure that I apply to nature. It's kind of like a lens again. So the way I'm going to see the outside world is going to be depending on the lens. If I have a very clear, very translucent lens, then I'm going to see a world that is very clear, and I'm going to be able to observe the goodness that is around me, the opportunities that are around me. Now, if what I have is a lens that is dusty, has smudges on it, and then I'm going to see a world that is distorted, a world that I cannot comprehend, a world that is ugly, a world that is dirty, right? Because since the lands are dirty, you're going to see as if the world were dirty. And again, it is up to me to interpret the world because it is based on what I have inside. It's based on my attitude. So again, this measurement that I apply to the world, that is the same measurement that nature, that nature which is God's creation, will apply back to me. So let's make sure that we have that measure of positive, of optimism, of love, of charity, of justice, in harmony. So all those good things, let's apply that to ourselves and try to see all that positivity around us. Because again, as I open my mind to all of that is good, then I'm going to be able to observe all the blessings that surround me. That's our conversation for today. I hope you like it. And again, just let's all keep positive minds, positive attitudes and especially positive actions. At this time, let's close our eyes in prayer. Thank the Lord for all the positive energy that we can tap into. Thank the Lord for all the energy, to all the opportunities for labor, all the opportunities to go outside and do something good, and also all the opportunities for us to work within ourselves for our own improvement. Thank you for all those who we love and who love us. Also, let's thank for those who might consider themselves to be our enemies because they too provide us opportunities for growth. I ask, um, I ask for permission for us to ask for ourselves to be blessed in this moment and receive some of the positive energy, some of the love in the universe that surrounds us, and especially be able to have open minds and to see God's love, God's justice, and God's providence in everything that happens to us. So good.